we wanted to get into the man who's always being talked about, the man who always wants to be talked about, one Mr. Donald
The man who,
Trump.
this guy's gotten more free marketing than McDonald's. It's like Candyman, and no one can stop saying his name. And he must just sit back and just laugh at all this. This guy's got more indictments than, Stalin. I'm starting to feel bad for the guy. This is just borderline ridiculous. All this is going to do is turn him into a martyr. I want to give him a hug, a bathrobe, and a cheeseburger. That's what this guy looks like he needs. His family's not by him. His wife is not by him. Everybody around him is indicted. He's been indicted across state lines like a fugitive. I mean, I don't understand. And to tell you the truth, I think nothing's going to come of this.
All right. First and foremost, he deserves those indictments. Secondly, his family's not by him because he's a bad person, and there's a reason why his family don't like him. Everybody who's around him is indicted because everything he touches, he turns to shit, and the people who he brings in close to him are his enablers. He doesn't allow people that would stand up to him to actually tell him no. That's why the people that are around him are all indicted, because to get close to him at all, you have to be a co-conspirator. He doesn't allow someone to get close to him who's going to try to, do the right thing. And yes, I do get where you're coming from. I think to his core fans, they already see him as a martyr. He's been telling people he's a martyr since his 2016 campaign, when he was telling everyone that the election was rigged before even knowing the results. Remember that?
Yeah. And not for nothing, all this is doing is making him look like he's right. I mean, how do you indict this guy on 34 counts across multiple states and the guy's still at home?
Because he's indicted.
It looks like he's being harassed.
He's indicted, but he's not arrested yet. Or, he turned himself in for a mugshot, but he's immediately out on bail. Which is, standard for white collar crime, right?
Right. But I mean, it's sort of like a shit or get off the pot at this point. I mean, indicted. Every morning you wake up, Trump's been indicted. It's like, Jesus, did the guy kill 4,000 people? I mean, please give me something. Like, I get it. The guy took the files. He didn't return the files, all this nonsense. Okay. But there's at what point does something manifest from all this? I mean, they're turning this guy into the Teflon Don.
So something's going to manifest after once we actually have the criminal trials. And Donald Trump, to his credit and to his advisors' credit, they are trying to slow roll this as much as possible. They're trying to slow the whole thing down because they want the election to happen before the hand. Trump doesn't need to win the election. Any Republican that wins, because they're all sycophants, they're going to give him a pardon anyway. So if he can just stretch this out and get people to think exactly what you're thinking, when is something going to come of this? I'm bored with hearing about the indictments. We're not seeing any progress with this. Well, now it seems like they may have indicted him for nothing because nothing is happening. That's what he wants. And all he has to do is slow this thing down until the election in November next year and January 2025.
Do you think he will be the Republican candidate?
I don't think he'll be the Republican candidate, but if a Republican wins, they're probably gonna pardon him, even regardless of whether of what happens with these trials, if he's been found guilty or if the trials are still ongoing. Donald wants all these trials still ongoing, and then day one he'll get a pardon from the Republican president the day they're sworn in 2025. That's what he's hoping.
Do you think he has a pardon that he has written for himself?
Sure. I'm sure his advisors have one teed up, and they want every Republican candidate to sign, to agree that they will give him a pardon in exchange for Donald Trump either stepping out of the race and two, endorsing them. I could totally see them saying, everybody, get all 12 candidates or whoever on the podium for a Fox News debate. Raise your hand if you promise to pardon Donald Trump on day one of your presidency, and watch all of their hands go up, except for maybe one.
Right. So you don't think he's going to be the candidate? Who do you think will be?
I think he's running right now in order to garner as much attention and as many donations as he can, because he's already shown that he's using the donations for his legal defense fund. That's why he's running. The donations that he's getting, legal defense fund, right? And then also it shows he still has sway within the Republican Party. And so even if he doesn't want to be president again, if he just has this much sway because he's still running for president, one, he gets to continue saying that, oh, this is a political hit job because I'm running for president. He still has that angle. And when he finally is okay with bowing out, he can say, hey, look how popular I am in the polls. I'm beating all of you in the polls. I will bow out in exchange for, you, the next runner up or whatever, promising me that you're going to give me a pardon on day one. And
right. Well, DeSantis would pardon him. I think Vivek would pardon him. Nikki Haley would pardon him.
Yeah, all of them except for Chris Christie would pardon him.
Yeah, Tim Scott.
And they would publicly promise that they would pardon him before.
I don't think Asa Hutchinson would, or Chris Christie, but the rest would.
Yeah, and not only would they pardon him, they would publicly tell everyone that they would as part of their campaign.
Right. They would actively market it.
Yeah.
Who do you think will be the candidate? Based on where we're at, obviously.
I think DeSantis doesn't actually have the charisma, and people are getting bored with him being a one-note culture warrior candidate. He doesn't have anything that he's offering anybody other than more culture war bullshit, and eventually people get bored with that. It was great to help him put him on a national stage, but what else do you have other than telling people to blame woke culture and CRT and gay people and minorities for every one of their problems? Aside from that, do you have anything that's going to make anybody's life better?
Right. No.
You have culture war bullshit.
Yeah, it's getting boring, just like these indictments. It's just the average American has the attention span of a wet chicken. So you can only talk about one subject for so long until you just lose the audience. I mean,
yeah, people are already bored, I think, with CRT. Right. But
because it doesn't exist, number one. Yeah. And number two, I mean, we've been talking about it for so long. We get it. There's pushback. Nobody wants it. Great. There's nowhere to go with that because it doesn't exist outside of law school and college. So it's just a distraction. They tried to humanize him the other day in Iowa.
I saw that.
And the Iowa governor had to tell the audience to not be rude to him because he was getting booed on stage. And then he and his wife tried to do some kind of personal commercial where she talked about how loving he is because when she had cancer, he picked the kids up from school. And it didn't go over well because everyone's like, well, I mean, aren't you supposed to pick your kids up from school?
You
don't get a medal for that, let alone if your wife is sick. So why is that the selling point that you have to say as his wife? And she was all teary-eyed and clutching her pearls about it. I was like, I can't with this. This is, haven't we heard this swan song before? Like, everyone's so predictable at this point. They got to kiss the black baby, they got to shake the old people's hands. They got to tell some cute story about how adorable their husbands are. I mean, what are they going to say? This guy's a fucking asshole and he snorts cocaine off the nanny's ass. I mean, what are they going to say? Yeah, he's wonderful. Vote for him.
But most importantly, vote for me to be first lady because that's what I want. I don't actually give a shit.
Right. And more importantly, vote for me. Right.
Yeah. Kiss the black baby. Yes. No. Kiss the black baby. Shake hands with the old person. Go do a photo op with some old veterans.
Yes.
And wave the flag.
Right. Roll up your button-down shirt sleeves. Wear the jeans. Eat the ice cream. Shove a hot dog down your throat. Hit a baseball somewhere so you don't look completely reptilian. You can pretend to be a fucking human for a while. I mean, it's just so boring at this point. And I think that's what makes Trump so appealing is that he doesn't do any of that stuff. He just goes out there and wiles out. I mean, I think he's, politics aside, I just think he's a repulsive representation of the United States. But shit, this country is going to get what it settles for, and it's settling for that. Good luck.
Yes, it is.